Happy Monday, everybody. Well, the kids are going back to school here in Arnold, Missouri. That's where I'm from, south of St. Louis, about 20 miles. So if you look at St. Louis and there's the arch, I'm south on Interstate 55, little town called Arnold, Missouri. If you watched Green Acres, it was Arnold the pig. Green Acres is the place to be. Farm loving is a life for me. So the kids are going back to school. And that leads me to this. Things change a lot. When the kids go back to school, things change. That tells me that sadly, race season, local racing is right around the corner from being over. Local points, the local scene. Now, there are still some races like, dirt racing inside the dome in December. But for the most part, about 45 days of local racing left. Local racing totally over middle of September here. So the last race at Peevely is like middle of September. Bob Sargent, one of the great promoters, he said one of the original promoters told him, "Be careful, young man. Don't lose all the money you made in June, July, in August. Because when these kids start back, grade school, high school, you start with Friday night football, and the fans are going to quit coming to the races because it's all about the kids. So I need you to all respond right here. When the kids go back to school, does it change the way you go to the racetrack? Or do you just keep going to the races like nothing ever happened? Is Bob Sargent his mentor? Is he right? Do less people go to the races now because the kids are back in school? How do the kids going back to school, how does it change your life? That's what I really want to know. I know for me, here's how it changes me. My three daughters, Brooke, Brandy, and Brittany. So Brooke and Brandy each have two kids. Brittany's got one, but it's an infant. Lila's 1 year old. But now it's going to be all about those kids going to school. You know what I mean? It's they're not going to go on vacations anymore. Everything's going to be studious. And actually, we got a big text last night. Lottie, well, her real name's Charlotte, but we call her Lottie. Lottie got a watch, like an Apple Watch, so we can all pay attention to what's going on. Not a phone, but just a watch so we can see what's up and keep our eye on her. Her mom and dad keep an eye on her. So that's already changed big. All right, respond right here. Tell me here's the question this morning. How does the start of the school year change your way going to the racetrack, or how does it change your life? All right, so I woke up to something else this morning. This one's funny. I wake up, okay, there's where my ADD just kicks in. I woke up in New York City in a funky cheap hotel. She took my heart, she took my money. She must have slipped me a sleeping pill. I guess the old boy fell in love with a girl in New York. And he woke up and all the shit was gone. She must have slipped him a sleeping pill. All right. So my mama, I wake up to a text about this long. Mom texted me a note last night around 11:30. So that must have been 12:30 because Mom lives in North Carolina. I was in bed though. I was tired. So Mom says, it appears that you have a goal because you're racing that dirt car an awful lot lately. I laughed. I said, well, Mom, I do. Mama knows me best. So what it is I told JEGS, my sponsor, when I signed my little contract with them, not little, nice contract, I said, I'll run 30 races. Well, right now I'm at 30 races. But when you run Volusia, when you run Speed Weeks, you run 6 nights. But they only count one of them. So let's say you go to Volusia, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, you could go to Volusia and you could run 6 races, and people that don't go to Volusia, you're already 6 races ahead of them in the points. So they don't want that to happen. So what they do is they only count one night at Volusia. So when I ran Volusia earlier this year, they counted my win. That's 6 races, but they only counted one. So that's 5 races that do not count. So they show me at 30 races, but only 25 points races. So I've only ran 25 points races. Well, I want to run 30 races that count towards the points. And I just want to see where I end up in the national points. National points means all the tracks. I mean, it's all the way from Missouri up to New York, over to North Carolina, all the way down to Florida. It's a pretty big area. Now, IMCA and all that, they are from the Mississippi West. IMCA is the biggest, but UMP is pretty big. And so, yes, my mother ratted me out. She knew. So that's it. So I'm at, I ran those 4 races last week. I ran Wednesday night at Highland. I ran Friday at Brownstown, Saturday at Peevely, Sunday at Quincy. I raced my ass off last week. Basically, 4 out of 5 nights. So right now, I'm at 29 races. Damn, I'm exhausted. So I'm at 29 races, and it's crazy because 3 years ago, I ran 68. That means you can't take off any week, and I didn't. I raced every single week. Won 11 races, finished like 6th in the national points. It's just something fun. It's just something to do. But I do get people that get on me during the winter. Rusty is like, damn it, Herman, you need to come riding with me. So I do. I go to Bike Week at Daytona. I go to Sturgis. I go on the Kyle Petty charity ride. And see, I gotta be done at the end of September this year, because Kim and I are going to the Canadian Rockies at the end of September, the early October. Have you gone to the Canadian Rockies? It's a 9-day trip. I'm super excited. I booked it myself. I booked it, and I yelled to Kim. I was in the office, and I said, we're going to the Canadian Rockies. Okay. And that's not Kim. Kim, you got to usually clear something. But I'd been telling Kim about it. So I cannot race. The UMP season ends like October 3rd, October 4th. But I'll be gone. We're going to the Canadian Rockies. Super excited about that train ride one night. One night we get on a Gold Star train. We're going to end up at Fairmont Chateau and a lot of stuff. So tell me if you've been to the Canadian Rockies. Did you do the one-night train ride? And so my point is this. I am a chameleon. Yes, I race, but I do a lot of different other stuff. And that's to keep myself balanced. But if I didn't race, I'd be crazy. And I got to tell you what, I've made my mind up. I'm going to keep racing. I'm young. I feel good. And man, my CPA, accountant, life coach, and my investor, there's 2 of them, Ashok, especially Ashok from India. I got people that are scared to death that I'll quit. I mean, scared to death. They think if I quit racing, I'll die. And it's always that old thing with Clint Eastwood. Don't let the old man in. So I won't. And then with Bloomquist, dying, and Dick Trickle dying, I'm like, I'm going to keep going. I ain't stopping. I'm scared. All right. All right, everybody. Well, I guess that was a couple, well, actually 3 things. Kids starting back to school, mom ratting me out to myself, and going to the Canadian Rockies, and I ain't quitting. I ain't quitting. People scared to death. Don't quit. You'll die. Your heart will stop.